What do we got on the show this week, Ben?
Oh, we got a cracker of a show, Glenn. We got Sean Byrne,
Yes.
director of Dangerous Animals, is on the show this week.
Bit of a chat with him. We're talking about the best films of 1996.
96. We went to see John Wick Ballerina. I don't know, what's it? Was it the world of... What's it, the official title? From the world of John Wick.
It's a fucking exhausting title.
Ballerina.
Yeah. We've got movie battles. We've got The Phantom versus The Shadow.
Yeah.
And The Second Coming of Fergus. Woohoo! Okay, everybody. Welcome. This is Good Movie Monday. I am Glenn Cochran. He is Ben Helwig. And yes, the return of Fergus Halbert over there on the kids' table. How are you, mate?
Doing well, how are you both?
Yes, doing good. Fergus, of course, is our, I guess we'll call him our TikTok manager. He is the reason you see us on that platform. What are you laughing at?
I just like that you've called him the TikTok manager.
Oh, he's the only one that touches our TikTok.
Like looking at you and at your smooth, looking at your smooth cheeks, it's like you must be 20 years younger than the two of us.
Yeah,
so
he is.
the only one qualified to.
10 years.
How old are you, mate?
27.
Yeah,
because I think every time
we're nearly 47. So
I'm trying to do you guys a favour.
Yeah.
Every time I go on TikTok, the government gets an alert.
Far out. Yep. Okay. This is a public service announcement to parents with kids in the car right now.
I will follow you.
Oh, that's going on the TikTok for sure.
Oh, God. Grouse show, as we said at the very start. Sean Byrne, the director of Dangerous Animals. Looking forward to that one. Usually when it comes to interviews, we've put them in the can a few weeks early. This one we recorded mere hours ago. So excited about that. And he's the guy, of course, that also directed The Loved Ones, which is a bit of a cult classic.
Yeah. It's weird, too, because he's doing screenings here in Melbourne like this week and early next week.
This week, yep.
And we still did a Zoom. He would have actually been local.
Could have had him here
I mean,
on the kids' table.
I mean, it'd be worthwhile. Like, he was such a great chat.
Well, he's going to come back.
It'd be worth us paying the $47 return airfare when they have the sales just to go down to Tasmania and visit him.
Is that where he's based?
He's a Tassie boy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little road, not a road trip because, we drowned.
We'll go on the QE too.
Yeah. Well,
take the ferry.
We could do that.
I've never been on the ferry.
Oh, haven't you?
No.
It's not worth it.
No. I've been on the ferry from Hobart to Mona. What is it?
You've skimmed the water essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the?
Yeah.
Is it Moma?
Yeah.
Moma. Yeah. There's a ferry. You can catch the ferry from the docks there, or you can drive around. But that's the only ferry that I've caught to.
Yeah.
I've never taken I've always had to, like, if I hadn't needed a car, I had to hire a car there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's something we could do.
But that would be fun. That would be a fun little group adventure.
We should do some road trip podcasting.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Why don't we? Okay. Even if we go down to the Tyre packing house and we'll just go looking at movies and then do a podcast.
We set it up in your fancy pants new car.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure has lovely
we could put a
audio.
card table in the back because it's like a twin cab ute. We could put a card table in the back and
we just do it from the back of the ute.
Have Fergus slowly drive us down the highway while we're recording on the back.
I was going to say we take it in turns. Yeah, one of us is out. Is just, what's it like out there? You got that.
It's a traffic report.
That's great.
I still have my computer next to me too, looking stuff up as I'm driving.
What's it like out on the roads, Ben? Oh, fucking freezing.
Yeah, you'd have to get Siri. Siri would have to do all the looking up.
Well, as you said, we did go to the movies, but before we get to that, one thing I want to touch upon is after last week's show, no sooner had it dropped, like I'm talking maybe 2 hours after it dropped, I get a voice message from number one listener, Brody Kane.
Lovely.
And I thought I would play it for both of you.
Oh.
He's given me permission to do so. Have a listen to this.
For someone who listens to the show religiously every week, I personally don't think you talk about Muriel's wedding all the fucking time. So I don't know what Ben is smoking. It must be something else.
I never said that you talk about Muriel's wedding on the show all the time. I said you talk about Muriel's wedding all the time.
No one can fact check that, you son of a bitch.
Exactly.
And
But
I did not prompt that. He just sent it to me. It made me laugh so fucking hard. I'm like, dude, you gotta let me use it. He goes, oh, let me re-record it for you. And I'm like, no, I gotta use that one. It's gotta be organic. Gotta be organic. And for people that don't know, like, we talk about this guy all the time on the show. And yes, he's become a bit of a mate to us, but he's been on board with us from day one. He's an organic listener. He was not friends with us in the beginning. And so, like, you know, he is a rusted on listener that, you know, came from out of nowhere. So I do appreciate everything that he comments weekly with us.
I mean, we talk about him more on the show than we do Muriel's wedding, but we don't talk about him off the show as much as we seem to talk about, like, at least a couple of the actresses. Like, it's always... That's how it comes up. I don't know if we explained this on air last time, but it's not that you're talking about Muriel's wedding.
Down here.
It's that it's like Muriel's wedding seems to be the only Australian film you think I've seen. So whenever you talk about a cast member that's in it, you're like, oh yeah, that such and such from Muriel's wedding. And I'm like,
none of it's true. None of it's true. And you could tell.
It's all the time.
I would sooner turn to Bad Boy Bubby or fucking Romper Stomper before I went to Muriel's wedding. Or The Big Steal. I talk about that a lot more than Muriel's wedding. What are we talking about?
Nah. The only time Big Steal comes up is if we're talking about Damon Harriman. or Steve Bisley.
Sounds like there's trouble in paradise. Yeah.
So anyway, what did
This
we
is
see?
a
What did we
6
see?
days,
What did we see?
7 nights.
What did we see this week, Ben?
Well, we went to see From the World of John Wick, Ballerina.
What a title!
It's a bit of a mouthful, and the film...
Can we just let it be said that we're not fans of the John Wick franchise? We both enjoyed the first one. I don't think either of us rate the sequels very highly. I certainly don't. First one had that emotional connection because it was about a guy whose dog was killed.
Yeah, it was.
So you gave a shit about it.
It was novel, and the action that followed was novel.
Yeah, and therefore, I'm not saying that Ballerina is a great film, but I think it's the second best in the whole series.
In the whole series, yeah.
Simply because, one, it brings it back to a nice, tidy 90-minute runtime. It's snappy, it's fast, it's the setting, the environment is different, so it's something new to look at. She's great, and there is a very, very amazing flamethrower shootout, and you can't go wrong when there's a flamethrower shootout.
I slept through most of that.
You certainly did. I was trying to trying to suggest wake up, it's a flamethrower shootout,
I didn't feel that at all. I woke up towards the end of it,
and it was still going.
and it was still going. But you know, the part that really kind of bothered me, look, these movies are all, and we talked about this afterwards, they're all one note.
Yep.
Like there's one tempo. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much consistent throughout the whole thing. The thing that really bothered me about this more than anything else, and it's a story niggle, but they keep talking about every time she wants to go do something, Angelica Houston, who looks like Lady Gaga, stuck her thumb in her mouth and just blew and popped all of her distinguishing facial features out. It looks like she had like 10 bees sting her face and she's just like exploded into hives or something.
She needs to be in The Beekeeper.
Yeah, definitely. She'd be the queen bee. But she'd be like, you know, don't go against the tribe or whatever, the clan or what is it, tribe? Is that?
Well,
what
they say
called?
Tribe, and then they change the definition to
to whatever it is.
Factions.
But during the whole kind of montage training thing, which was really difficult for them to do because Ana Diarmas is 35 now, and they're trying to palm her off as a 16, 17
during those
up
moments,
to 25 kind of year old. You're like I mean, don't get me wrong, she's a fantastic looking woman, but she does not look like a 16-year-old. And there is at no point do they spend any time like kind of brainwashing them into, like even the Marine Corps has, as A Few Good Men taught us, it's, God, Corps,
or Mission Impossible with their
Marines
oath.
and their oath. There's none of that. So when she keeps saying, you're endangering the tribe, you're like, all you've done is torture this girl for the first 15 years of her life. Why would she care if she's endangering? She has no friends.
I guess they're leaving that onus on us as a viewer to know the John Wick franchise and what's going on to understand that she's probably been made aware of that.
Yeah.
We just haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that you kind of like. At no point does anyone show any loyalty to her or anything like that.
Not at all. No.
And
Except for what's his name from Deadwood?
Yeah, except Ian McShane.
Yeah.
Who I would love to see. You know that episode of The Simpsons where Bart gets Grandpa's teeth?
I know where he's going, yep.
Like him and Gabriel Byrne could have like a fan teeth off. Where they clomp their fake chompers onto that fan, spin around, and whoever lasts the longest wins.
He looks ridiculous, doesn't he?
Yeah. I love Ian McShane, but his face is starting to sink.
And they give him close-ups.
And yeah, but his teeth are like... you know, like what's her name's in There's Something About Mary where she goes, oh, what I like is a big mouthful of teeth.
You know, the only thing I found a bit confusing about this film, because I did enjoy it. It's not a movie I'll hurry back to watch by any means. Like the bar is low when it comes to John Wick for me.
Yeah.
But like they've wedged this story in between, I think, number 3 and 4, right? However, unless you've watched those number 3 and 4 like religiously, I can't figure out how it does work in there. Like, because John Wick is in this a lot. It's like, well, what's he doing here when he should be over there? And I guess it'll make sense to the diehard fans, but nevertheless, I think it stands alone as a pretty decent action film. It's something almost slice of the 90s, I guess. But
yeah, and I would like to. I'd love to see what Keanu Reeves actually looks like without hair dye.
Yeah,
because you're like, come on, man. Like, that hair is not that colour anymore. There's no way.
You've seen what he looks like without the beard when he went back and did the third Bill and Ted. Yeah. Something not right. I reckon he should have been in that with his beard. I mean, because his character's aged. He can have a beard.
You can have a beard.
He could have had a beard in the first one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All aging rockers have beards. You know what else I went to see? Like, after our disastrous attempt to go and see, a couple of weeks ago, to go and see Karate Kid, or was it the... Legends of the Karate
Kid Legends. Yeah,
I did journey along off my own bat last night.
You son of a bitch! You left me out.
I left you out. I went to see it. It's I should if I do a Glenn, I'd be like, best film of the year, man.
Oh, what do you make of this, Fergus?
I'm ready to hear your reaction to the movie when you see it. To see if it's right or not.
No. Look, it is not the best movie of the year. It's very by the numbers. It's kind of the trouble is, especially after the TV series, it kind of deals with sort of next Karate Kid. I mean, there's no rapes or anything like this in the next Karate Kid, which is totally bizarre.
Hang on, did they acknowledge the TV series, like Cobra Kai?
Not really. Other than like Daniel LaRusso is in it, and there's a great. It's not even post credits. It's pre the credits bit with Zabka in it.
Okay, so yeah.
And he does it. He's got a great little bit about, we should start our own pizza place and call it Miyagi-Do.
Fucking, I mean, it's a spoiler, but like, I'll take it. It's funny.
Yeah. There's a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really it kind of, it does a lot of kung fu stuff and, including bringing in the 1-inch punch, and the funny thing, it's the kid, funnily enough, it's the kid, the lead actor is the kid from American Born Chinese, that TV series, which I really like.
Yeah.
And he's definitely more of a kung fu guy. They keep trying to show that kung fu and karate are from the same tree. They're just different styles.
Different branches.
And I think Ip Man 4 really settled that debate for us when Donnie Yen beat the shit out of Scott Adkins. But although that being said, not until Scott Adkins and his little flunky beat the shit out of all the other kung fu masters in the film. But look, it is a bit funny. But whenever he does, like, because he's the kid is. Only learns karate at the end to help him win the 5 Boroughs tournament. The rest. Look, there's no spoilers in this.
It's a synopsis. Don't worry.
It's the synopsis. It literally is the synopsis of the film. But all his stuff is basically kung fu. And I got the impression from the trailer that Pacey from Dawson's Creek was the villain.
All right.
He's just the girl that he's interested in's dad.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's like, and he does he learns a bit of karate because it's fun. But
final question for you before we move on. Does it reference Jaden Smith at all?
no,
Okay.
No,
I was
not at
hoping
all.
they'd do one of those Indiana Jones things where they just kill him off, like in between movies. Like, how Indiana Jones and his fucking mutt, his son,
because
he just died in the war.
do you know where does that Karate Kid take place?
What do you mean? It takes place in China.
In China, okay,
Yeah.
because he is like
He's an American kid that goes to China and he feels out of place because
Yeah.
he's the only little black kid and American.
because this is the reverse. He's
Yeah.
living in Beijing in Jackie Chan's kind of monastery, learning kung fu, and then his mother Ming Na Wen, who's a surgeon, goes, "I got a job in America, in New York.
You were
Let's
good
go."
with those names.
Yeah, I'm
It just came out.
to be honest, I don't have it written down, and I'm shocked that I'm remembering them all.
Like, you could just make any kind of sound and you probably get it right.
Yeah. I should have just said Chun-Li. His mum's Chun-Li. But they don't let Chun-Li do any martial arts, which is real disappointing. They just got Pacey. Should just talk about...
Hang on.
from
Dr. Odyssey.
Yeah. From now on, I'm not going to talk about actors by their real names, just by parts they've played in other movies. It's going to be great.
It's Terrific TV Tuesday, the only Tuesday TV segment that drops on a Monday.
Once again, it's Matt O'Neill to the rescue for me this week.
Oh my God. Yeah.
He put me on to this show. I've just finished watching Mobland,
Yep.
which is a fucking great show.
I've been really worried that we're going to cover the same show this week,
show.
so let's see.
He put me on to Department Q, Dept Q.
Dept Q. That's the
Dept
one I'm
Q.
recommending too.
Yeah, right. Well,
I've
interesting.
binged the whole thing.
I'm still got 2 episodes to go, and I
Oh,
kind of...
This is my opportunity for spoilers.
Trust me, there is literally no spoiler. There's no possible to spoil Karate Kid Legends.
No, but I could spoil Department Q.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got to the part where the kidnappers have been revealed.
Okay. Well,
So
anyway.
I know who that. I don't know what else is coming.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Spoiler
go ahead.
alert.
Go
But,
ahead. Go ahead. No, that's not a spoiler. That's not a spoiler.
So it has just dropped on Netflix. It stars Matthew Good, Alexei Manilov, who is a fucking revelation, Leah Byrne, Kelly MacDonald pops up always.
I love Callie MacDonald.
Yeah, always welcome in every
she
show.
She can be my therapist.
Jamie Sivs from Game of Thrones, who gets a dagger in his eye in that show, and Kate Dickie, who I for whatever reason cannot take my eyes off.
Hang on, she's the
I
boss.
love it.
Isn't
I
she?
love a bit of Dickie.
She's the boss?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
You can't
she's
take
great.
your eyes off her.
No, she's. I don't want to.
She's quite haggard in this.
Well, she's she's a detective chief superintendent, like she running an underfunded department.
seasoned.
So she's and she's dealing with Matthew Good, who even before. So the whole premise of the show is that Matthew Good is a detective chief inspector who, while he and his partner they go and check out a crime scene that's not their crime scene, they just happen to be in the area, and while they're there, they both basically get shot.
It's a fantastic opener for the series.
Yeah.
Really, really strong way to get into it.
And it takes a while to kind of come around to it too. But they get shot. The constable who was there minding the building, minding the crime scene, he gets killed, and then his partner gets shot. It goes through him and into
Definitely not spoilers, just in case you wonder.
into Matthew Good, and so the partner is basically paralyzed.
Yeah.
Matthew Good gets shot through the neck, but it doesn't
It goes in one side and out the other.
out the other. It doesn't kind of kill him. And it's kind of about him coming back to work. And even before this happened, he's a real cunt.
Yeah, he's an absolute cunt. And he's dealing throughout the whole show since this opener. He's dealing with trauma that he doesn't know how to unpack, and he's resisting all help. And then he gets given, like, just to get him out of the way, he gets given this Department Q, which is a base. Did you go through that? It's a basement.
Yeah, he
cold
gets
case,
which is the
cold case
coolest
thing.
fucking. I mean, like, I understand that it's a toilet, and take the
Their office is a giant
it's a
toilet.
giant toilet. Take the showers out and the gross toilets. It's like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I love there's one moment like
Subway station home. It's the coolest fucking place.
It is very cool, and he's complaining about it. I'm like, what are you complaining about? You're by yourself down there. It's fantastic. But there's a great moment where he gets a visitor, and the visitor walks in and says, "Oh, I'm here to see you." But is that a urinal? And Kelly McDonald too. So
Yeah.
is that a
Is
urinal?
that a you? Yeah. And there's a sink that the rats avoid.
Yeah.
Even the rats avoid.
How good is Matthew Good? Like, I mean, we
good.
really got a new appreciation for him from the Offer.
The Offer, yeah.
And he was amazing in that. And here, he reminds me a lot of David Tennant from Broadchurch. Like, he's the same kind of character. He's disgruntled, he's scruffy, and won't take shit from anybody.
It's one of those things too that he's in general better than or smarter than everyone else. So he's like House, but not like a super genius like House is.
Yeah.
He's
a smart ass.
He's just a smart ass kind of thing. But it's great. It is at first I was a bit disappointed because similar to the new Bergerac series, I was like, does it have to be one crime over the whole series? Because he's so watchable, and all of their character dynamics are so interesting that you're like, I don't really care about the mystery that you're solving. I just want to see you guys interact. So why can't it just be a case of the week? But as you go, you really get sucked into it.
They unpack a lot of stuff as it goes. There's a lot of unraveling to be done, and it's really there's a lot of great cliffhanger stuff.
Yeah,
and we're not going to go into the crux of it, but the case itself and the victim is like nothing I've seen on television before. So it's really unique. What I found fascinating about this is it was the showrunner and director is Scott Frank. This is the guy who wrote Out of Sight, the Steven Soderbergh film.
Yeah, right.
He wrote Get Shorty, Minority Report, Malice, Logan, Marley and Me, Dead Again, Little Man Tate. Like, he's got some real big
chops.
Hollywood pedigree,
Chops.
And
right.
so this is just, he directed every episode.
Yeah, right. I did not actually go into it that much because I was literally up until coming here today. I've just been watching it all day.
Yeah. Well, I binged it in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't need Matt O'Neill's help.
Yeah, we were just talking about Mobland, and he's like, "Oh, I've been watching this," and I'm like, "What's that?"
Yeah,
I hadn't heard of it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's got Matthew." All he had to say was Matthew Good.
I passed it forward too at work. I'm like, you've got to watch this, and now everyone's onto it.
Yeah,
Fergus, Department Q.
I'm going to watch it now. Yeah, I was sitting pretty attentively listening to that. That was great.
And you love David Tennant in Broadchurch.
He's fantastic. So as soon as you made that connection,
Yep,
absolutely.
Get on it, boy. That's why we have Fergus here. We just pass on our
just
knowledge.
For you to call him boy.
He's on the kids' table.
The boy likes it. It's going to be like a Bert Newton moment on.
Next time he gets a plate of hot chips.
Yeah,
I've worked hard for it. Yeah.
He's already had hot dogs.
Wait, you're not talking about these ones?
Yeah, not Big Brother's hot dogs.
He popped up in my TikTok today.
He's still alive.
No, it's an old clip from him.
Oh,
When
right.
he was talking about the reverse kanga. I'm like, oh my God, do you remember the reverse kanga? Can't do that on television anymore.
Donkey slaps only from here on out.
Turkey
No,
slaps.
no, it was a turkey slap. That's right, turkey slap.
Imagine a donkey slap.
A donkey slap. That's a donkey punch and a turkey
It'd
slap.
just knock you unconscious.
That's a film that no one's done a special edition Blu-ray of. Donkey Punch. That was a great film.
Sucker punch? Oh, Donkey
Punch.
Yeah, Donkey punch.
With Jamie
Wow.
Winston, yeah.
Oh, hang on. Let's show people the cover. There it is. Donkey punch. Good way to cut. That's a good cut.
I feel like we should do Japanese beer commercials where we just like gibberish. Oh, Donkey Punch!
And then move on to a Japanese
And then
game
just,
show.
yeah.
And then you've got to sniff someone's asshole through a curtain.
Oh, I didn't think we filmed that.
Yeah, that's just how Fergus got on the show.
Yeah, that's right. He guessed the asshole correctly.
And get
Tastes
tall
like
boy.
Ben.
Yeah. In all fairness, I could smell it when I walked in the door.
That's right. But I had to taste it to make sure.
What's Sean Locke's Rear of the Year thing? He goes, when Diego Maradona bent over, it set the sprinklers off.
Hi there, this is Kathy Griffin. I know, look away. No, I'm joking. So anyway, I've been asked to provide this segue to Glenn and Ben's interview with Sean Byrne. I know who he is, but who the fuck are Glenn and Ben? Do they make ice cream or something? I bet it's vanilla.
All right, interview time, Ben. How weird is it to have just done this and we're already sharing it? It's how it should be every week, but it's not. It's
So
not
you
how
know
it
what's
is.
even weirder?
What?
Is that in the space of a month,
Yeah.
we've seen 2 cracking horror films and both of them are Australian.
I've seen 3. If you go
Three?
genre, you can count The Surfer in there. Like,
Right, yeah, which I have yet to see. Yeah,
Australia is absolutely killing it with genre films right now. So I said that Bring Her Back is like one of the best horror films of the year. I think this is one of the best horror films of the year. It really is unique.
I think it's going to make a really interesting actor awards this year because traditionally they poo-poo horror unless it breaks big in America, like the Babadook or something. Otherwise, they really all those traditional awards always treat horror like shit.
Second tier stuff, yeah.
And I think this year they're going to really struggle
Because they're not only good horror films, they're performance driven.
Yeah.
Jai Courtney in this is just the best. He's a new horror villain for the ages. Like, he is just like, he's up there with Mick Taylor. And
It's so hard to believe when you think about early on in his career when he's the blonde pretty boy in Spartacus, like the gladiator, and you're like, how is
But look, if you like sharks and you like serial killers, this movie's going to do it for you. Let's drag Sean into this and have a chat, and
Let's do it.
let him do all the talking.
Wait! Oh, how romantic. It's too bad I'm more of a horror fan. Every fisherman loves a good fight. The thing the fish doesn't realize is that once that hook sets, no matter how hard she runs, she's already in the boat. Welcome aboard.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
Yeah, really, really good, thanks. Ben did some amazing work on the handyman deck, so
Yeah, we are. That's I wasn't sure if you were gonna remember who I was based on that.
oh no,
Or
it brought it to life. It was we were struggling with it till then.
I actually noticed at the end of Dangerous Animals that Grant and Christian got a thank you, which he didn't realize.
Oh, okay. I saw him at the after party at Cannes, but yeah, because I think Handyman, there was another draft that was meant to be delivered, and then he kind of gave me some space because so it's like he's really Grant was really accommodating, and I've known him for such a long time that it was it was fun that he was there, and I got to meet Phil Hunt as well, who I hadn't met before.
Did you get to see his band play? Did that happen?
I didn't know, but he's such a kind of punk rocker, isn't he? Through and through.
I'm going to jump in now because I've got limited time and I need to get some content created here.
Sorry.
Mate, it's great to be chatting, and this movie is all kinds of awesome. Congrats on making possibly one of the best horror films of the year.
Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that.
Got to say too, that opener, like if anyone that knows your work knows that they're in good hands when you're directing, but your opener really reassures people that don't know your work that they're kind of in the hands of a madman. So I love that too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think that first 5 minutes of a film is kind of where you set the contract with the audience and say this is the ride you're in for, and then try and stick to that tone from there on in.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, I've got you now, you're fucked.
Yeah.
What struck you about the script the most? Like, what was it that made you want to do it?
Well, first of all, it was just that combination of serial killer film and shark film. I hadn't seen that before, and kind of the cynical marketing side of me was like, wow, that's like two really popular subgenres of horror, and if you can kind of get both of those audiences, and the shark audience is really loyal, and that holds up the serial killer audience, and they make sort of less serial killer films. So I thought, and that's kind of my kind of pet subject. So I thought, it provided a really kind of strong safety net to explore a serial killer, but just the concept was very original. Could have been written on a napkin and sold in the 90s or something. That's kind of what it felt like. But also the fact that this was the first shark film where the shark's not the baddie, man's the baddie, and so I felt like Nick Leppard had just really cracked the code, and because ever since Jaws, basically every shark film almost follows the same formula, and it did a great disservice to the shark, masterpiece though it is. So it just felt really fresh and fun.
Yeah, some of those close-ups of the sharks really express that they're not the villain. Like, there's an innocence when you go right into the eye of the shark as well. I find that quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like there's less than 10 deadly shark attacks per year. They're always kind of an accident. They confuse us for for seals, and I just wanted to, paint sharks in their true majestic light and give them, and give them scars the same way that humans kind of have scars, and because you just never see that. I mean, I mean, that's the thing. I think most shark films these days get kind of CGI happy because they can, but we try to kind of really learn the lesson of Jaws and just really focus on the minimalism of the fin. But it's a serial killer film first and foremost. But there's shark carnage in there, but it's always at the manipulation of man. Like there's no sharks just indiscriminately hunting
Yep.
humans, and I don't think I've seen that before in a shark film.
Yeah, no, like Ben and I were chatting about it afterwards. Like we were blown away by how original this felt, and yet there's a lot of influences in there, but it still felt completely new and fresh.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, it's crazy not to kind of learn the lessons of Jaws, and but there's also, there's kind of Silence of the Lambs in there. That's like, in a way, it's kind of Wolf Creek on
Yep.
water as well. And I think Greg did. I mean, Greg kind of was the first one to kind of burst through the wall, and it's just it's kind of hard to get. As much as it's an incredible Australian genre of filmmakers, for a while there, it felt like it was almost a dirty word in the local kind of industry, and so I feel like I feel like it's got a lot in common with Wolf Creek and that that kind of unhinged kind of charisma, and it's how the spider catches the fly.
Yes.
But also very influenced by my love of 80s and 90s action cinema like Die Hard and Speed, and wanting it to feel kind of quite kinetic. Like I'm
Hmm.
not really a slow burn kind of horror director. I'm more sort of attacking. So in a way, it's kind of it's kind of horror action.
Yeah, and you're on a boat, so it's very under siege.
Yeah, yeah, Under Siege. That's
Yeah.
another one.
You love strapping people into chairs too. I love that about your work.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think when it's a contained kind of horror, you just gotta, I don't know, there's not too many places to go. So it's sort of trying to, trying to kind of make the most of that and emphasize the fact that, well, you're stuck here. And yeah, the chair in Dangerous Animals is really, really creepy. It's so got some weird kind of, it's actually a marlin fishing chair, but it has a weird
Yeah,
kind of gynecological feel or something. It's very creepy.
But it's
it
also like
definitely is.
you feel really excited for Jai Courtney's character because he finally gets to show off his. It's like like you look at Glenn and you look at like we've got this massive collection of stuff, and there's nothing better than someone coming around and wowing at it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he actually gets to do that. He's got a captive audience, and he is so enthusiastic and so joyful in his pursuits, and like he just loves that he's got someone to show off for.
Oh, absolutely. He's kind of, keeping physical media alive. But, yeah, it also made sense for, like serial killers keep their trophies. A lot of them take photos, and this just seemed like the perfect kind of trophy in a way, because it's, doesn't leave a kind of digital footprint. It allows him to just keep watching it, which that's what sort of serial killers do. They rely on those trophies to kind of feed them until the urge gets too much, and they go and do it again, which is kind of where the dance kind of stems from in a way, because that is the most godlike moment. It's like it's almost like a rap party for a snuff film. It's when the actual killer's at its kind of purest, and then he relies on the trophies from kind of that moment on.
Yeah,
And
he's a villain for the ages, I reckon. And I'm wondering, like, did you and Jai have a backstory for him? Like, has he got a history that you know about that we're yet to find out?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a whole backstory. I do that for all of the characters and each department to start with, just so there's a foundation there, and then you bring on all these amazing people and they kind of elevate it. But yeah, I mean, like it all, and there was more that could have been in the film as well. But it's almost like we didn't want to tuck the audience too safely into bed at night as well. But there's kind of hints there that he had there's kind of parental neglect, possibly mummy issues. I'd imagine his mum probably had him as like a 15 or 16-year old, and wasn't there to kind of protect him when he had that kind of moment on the beach and suffered that shark attack, which was probably the most frightening but exhilarating moment of his life. And like most serial killers, he's kind of reliving something vicariously through his victims. And even though he's literally killing his victims, in a way, he's sort of killing the source of his pain over and over again. So Jai had to know kind of all of that leading into it, and he's and he's a nuanced enough character actor that at times he could capture the broken child inside the man. But what I was really excited about is he's had so much kind of big screen kind of franchise experience. He absolutely knows the difference between a line, an inward line and a line for the audience. So when he has to say "Welcome aboard," he's like, "Oh, this is for the audience, isn't it?" Or it's like, how romantic. Too bad. I'm more of a horror fan. He just knows how to kind of eat those moments up. And we talked about some of our favorite kind of horror performances, like Kathy Bates in Misery and Jack Nicholson in The Shining and Christian Bale in American Psycho, and how you can have there's a certain theatricality and how you can kind of really kind of take center stage as a villain in a horror film, but it still has to be underpinned with a genuine psychology. Otherwise, it's just a caricature.
Yep,
How
completely
much
understand that.
how much hoops did you have to jump through to get him to perform Baby Shark? Or was that like was
No,
he right
I
in
mean,
there for
yeah,
that?
I mean, he loved all that. I mean, I think you couldn't get him to perform Baby Shark now because his daughter was listening to Baby Shark constantly at the time. I was on to. He would go home from work and have to do Baby Shark, and now he's like, I never want to hear Baby Shark again.
I apologize for Ben. That's the greatest spoiler I've ever heard. One thing, like, just tell me if I'm wrong. There's a moment right at the start where Jai's at the wheel and there's a really close up of him. It looks to me like he's got one eye on the horizon and one eye on the audience. Is that intentional, or am I reading into that?
I don't know. You probably have to ask Jai. Is that when he's sort of driving to the real thing? And
Yeah. It just looks to me almost like I wondered if you sort of augmented it a bit, so one eye was slightly that way and one was that way, because it looked like he had his eye on the audience to say you're in for a good ride, but he's also looking ahead to what he's
well,
about to do.
yeah, I mean, he is basically saying it's like I am the real thing. You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a hint of a smirk on the very last couple of frames that is basically, it's almost a nod to the audience, or just him. And also, I think it's like just a part of the arc as well that he's not, the ticking clock is actually in the abduction. Once he's got her there, he's kind of luxuriating in it and enjoying it, and then Zephyr kind of pushes him to the edge, so it becomes more and more unhinged. But that moment early on, he's like, he's having a great time. He's like done all his hard work, and he's just enjoying listening to music with someone in a surfboard trapped in the back of the ute.
The music is so integral to the film too. Like, was there, and when you make a film, it's not open slather. Like, songs cost money, and you have to take that into account before you start. So, how early in the process did those songs come into it, and were planned, throughout the kind of the genesis of the film?
Well, but Baby Shark was always in there, and Credence with Ooby Dooby was always in there. But that was about it. I mean, originally it was set in California, and then we moved it to Australia as a bit of a fish out of water story, and had to kind of rework the character. And then that's when Evie, Stevie Wright's Evie, kind of came into it, which really felt like it was a great nod to, Tucker does, he feels like he would listen to Australian kind of rock, but also, letting your hair hang down, and that how that ties into his very specific MO. And then I always write with kind of, songs in mind. So Crowded House is Mean to Me. She came all the way from America. She had a blind date with Destiny. And then there are certain things in there that kind of shift as it goes on and you test it. So it had more, originally the sex scene was to more of a kind of metal song. It was more kind of, grinding and sexy. And then as you kind of test it, and it's more, I think it's the most commercial film that I've made. So that we needed to kind of feed into that thread in a softer way. And that became Cigarettes after sex. But yeah, Albatross is also in there, which is sort of, like stoner. So yeah, I mean, I always write with songs in there, and sometimes the songs are unaffordable, or sometimes the artists don't want to, provide a track, but it always follows a kind of a lead where it's hopefully, propulsive, and it's needle drop, but very character driven as well.
Yeah, awesome. I suspect that we could chat with you for hours here, but we've just about clocked up our time. I just always like to ask people we chat with, just what was a movie when you were young that really lit the spark and made you want to become a filmmaker?
I mean, there's so many, because my father was a film critic, so I was just inundated with films. I mean, King Kong kind of very, very early on, like the original. I remember just feeling so sorry for Kong, and Die Hard felt like it went by in about 20 minutes, and I was like, that is just an incredible roller coaster. But I mean, it's probably a bit of a cliched answer, but Pulp Fiction was the first film that I actually felt like I read without, it was, and without even trying to, I think because it played with the form so much. And, normally you would cut to the chase, but instead this did the opposite, and you'd go up in the elevator with, with Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta kind of chatting, and the novelistic structure. And it just made me, and it felt like everything old was new again. And it made me think, wow, you can just kind of actually take these kind of passions and you can kind of weave them in according to your own personality. So that was kind of the light bulb film.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for your time. We'd love to chat with you again sometime, even just generally about movies and whatnot. So the invitation is open, but thanks. We love this film. It's one of the best horror films of the year.
Thanks so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, well, let's chat again. It's my favorite thing to do. Talking about.
I actually heard you on the film Movies That Made Us podcast. I gave that a listen, and then you dropped this Sunset reference with Bruce Willis, and I was like, who's talking about this? This is like a great film that no one ever talks about, and you just casually dropped it in that conversation, and I was like, amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, it's all kind of a soup, isn't it? It's just like made up of everything.
1996. Twins all across New Zealand celebrate as Dolly, the sheep, becomes the first mammal to be successfully cloned.
1996. We're plowing through these years, Ben. What do we start at? 1982? Is that where we began at the start of the year?
I think so, yeah.
Jesus, we're up to 96. All right, let's go through the top 10 first.
All right.
Do you have them in front of you? Because I think I've got the wrong ones in front of me.
I do. Starting at number 10, Space Jam.
How outrageous.
I wonder if we can go through this and, I don't know, count the ones which I haven't seen. Jerry Maguire at number 9. Nutty Professor at 8. Ransom at 7. 101 Dalmatians, which in my head was like a lot older than this.
Maybe you just got the cartoon in your mind, sort of.
Yeah. This is the live action, you think?
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense. Hunchback of Notre Dame. The Rock.
Yep.
At 4. Mission Impossible at 3. Twister at 2. And Independence Day at number 1.
There's 2 Tom Cruise in there.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Wow. Any there that tickle your fancy, Ferg?
Oh, a few. Jerry Maguire for sure.
Yeah, you love it?
that movie.
Help me. Help you.
Show me the money.
Show me the
I
money.
just love it. Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
I just absolutely adore that film. Every film on that list, honestly, is something that I hold in high regard.
The Rock is pretty special.
Oh, absolutely. The Theory as well.
With the James
Still
Bond
holds
stuff?
strong,
Yeah. I remember. Did I show
told
you
me
that?
about that
Yeah,
one,
and I
yeah.
think I showed you and Jarrett. Like, there's an actual belief that Sean Connery's character in The Rock is James Bond, and there's a whole video that goes for like 40 minutes on YouTube that connects every dot. And it's fascinating, and it makes
sense.
complete sense.
Yeah.
Complete sense. All right, well, before we run through some other titles, I've got a Brody list here, all right? So every single week without fail, this guy, you didn't mention this and you didn't mention that. So just for you, mate. All right, we've got The Lawnmower Man, From Dusk Till Dawn, Screamers, Hellraiser Bloodline, The Oblique, Tremors 2, Fear, Dead Man, The Frighteners, Darkman 3, Curdled, Thinner, Bad Moon, Scream, Screamers, The Dentist, The Craft, Bordello of Blood, Children of the Corn 4, Amityville Dollhouse, Pinocchio's Revenge, and The Uninvited. That ought to shut him up.
Which Uninvited is this one? It's not the cat one.
It could. Hang on, could be.
Yeah,
Because there's a more recent one.
I think there's like a ghost type one, and then there's the weird one which is a cat on a boat. And the cat is like a serial killer or a monster, like a monster killer.
The cat's a serial killer.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
No, I'm confusing them. No, I don't know. But I mean, that's a great list of horror films. The Frighteners is a big one for that year. I think the Boneheads are about to talk about. That's one that they love. Dead Man's a great one. Tremors 2, which I think is the best of the Tremors films. Let's go through some...
So I was going to say, you're kind of stepping on all my... what do I think Glenn has picked for his...
Well, no, I will surprise you with that, I think.
Okay, that's going to be interesting. Because it's Bordello of Blood?
That's just the... I was on the set for that one. Oh,
there we go. No, this one has Beau Bridges, Sharon Lawrence from NYPD Blue.
Yeah, no, I don't know that one.
Bunch of people who I don't recognise, yeah.
Brody, you can educate us, mate.
It's a made-for-TV film directed by Larry Shaw. That can't be right.
So, let's go through some highlights throughout the year. Biodome. You can't have 96 without a biodome.
That's Iron. That's Spider-Man. Iron Man is...
Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Glad you said that one.
I mentioned that a lot more than Muriel's Wedding. We've got Black Sheep, The Juror, Happy Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any others you got there, or did you not bring a list this time?
No, I've kind of because
You're getting bored of it. You're done.
Well, no, because I just feel like it's really hard not to just list every single film because you're like these are all great.
Here's what I did, right? So this week, and you can see there, I've written up their highlights, right?
Yeah.
And I thought I'm going to do the highlights of the year. Probably going to be about 20 movies. There's fucking 100 on my
There's
page.
100. Yeah, it's just too many.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just do the whole thing where we talk about what we like the most.
Yeah.
Are there any more that Fergus wants to throw in? Did you before you came? Did you look at 96?
People vs. Larry Flint.
Oh wow.
I got Bulletproof, Bloodsport 2, Hard 8, Swingers.
Bloodsport 2.
Yeah.
You like that one?
I've never seen it. I just saw that and I thought, Glenn.
Well, Ben and I were talking about it last night.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It looks great.
Daniel Bernhardt, the lead
funny
actor,
thing is
is in
that-
the new John Wick Ballerina.
I was looking at his filmography, and that's kind of his first film,
Yeah.
and he's the lead.
Yeah. He's the
And then-
DTV Jean-Claude Van Damme.
But then you go through, and as you get closer to now, it's degenerated. It's kind of devolved into thug.
Yeah.
You know, scarred assassin. His characters no longer have names.
Goon number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else you got there, Fergus?
Extra tough goon.
My standout was Pusher.
Oh, of course.
right.
Yeah.
I love Pusher. That's a great.
I forgot
great
you're
film.
into all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm
Well,
the
you
one
put
that...
me on that one as well.
No,
so-
I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't put you onto that one. Did I?
You were like, you should buy the trilogy.
Oh, okay.
when it came out on Blu-ray.
Because I thought I corrupted you with all my shit. That's the problem.
No, but
Yeah,
that.
but there is
that
a
was the
sequel in
best
there.
thing as well.
It does
It's
come
not
with 2
shit.
and 3.
Yeah, well, he's got the trilogy.
Yeah,
so. And
You're like, just skip the first one. Straight
I mean,
to
there's
the
some
sequel.
good sequels. I mean, I do like Escape from LA, and I do like a Very Brady sequel. That's a very under. I think it's better than the first one. The Crow 2, which no one seems to agree with me. I think is a really good
Haven't seen
movie. Anyway, all right, let's just go through and try and guess each other's favourites.
All right.
Do you want to go first?
Look, I will because I think we've already kind of joked about them. So I had Tremors 2,
No.
The Rock,
No.
Frighteners,
Nope.
Scream,
Nah.
Fargo.
Yes. Oh, phew, you got one.
I got one, and the one that I think is probably the most likely, Spy Hard.
Oh, shit.
Okay, no.
No,
missed
so
them.
okay, so the ones I put in my top list were Beautiful Girls, Fargo,
Classic.
Brain Candy, which is the kids in the Hall movie,
Yeah, right.
Kingpin, Farrelly Brothers,
Yeah.
and then because I just can't pick a few, I got to pick 5.
Yeah.
Sling Blade
Yeah, right.
and Mars Attacks.
Right, Mars Attacks. That's an interesting
love
choice.
Mars Attacks, and I think the older I get, the more I appreciate
The more
it.
you like it.
It's just a better film as the years go by. So there we go. I'm going to guess for you.
All right.
Long Kiss Goodnight.
No.
Oh, okay. Bottle Rocket
No.
and Stealing Beauty.
No.
Okay. Well,
No. Funnily enough,
we don't know each other at all.
I haven't actually really seen Stealing Beauty.
I assumed you would have.
Okay, I remember when it came out, and I think I played it in the video store, and you do get to see D.W. Moffat's dick, which I was like, this is unnecessary.
Mr. Moffat.
I'd rather see more of Rachel Weisz, who's just like, remember when she was just like a bit part? She was just in bit parts. No, for me, I had From Dusk Till Dawn,
Okay.
Fargo,
Yep.
Beautiful Girls.
Excellent. We both got Beautiful
Beautiful
Girls in
Girls.
there. Have you
And-
seen Beautiful Girls?
No, I have not.
Add it to your list. It's wonderful.
And one that was just pure because at the time I saw it theatrically. I loved it. I had a big thing for Dynamire, and it's Dragonheart.
I actually was going to put Dragonheart on there, and then I thought to myself, because it was 1, it's dragons, 2, it's Sean Connery, 3, it's Dennis Quaid. But then I thought, but does he like the idea of the talkie dragon?
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
If
surely
it's-
he doesn't.
If it's Sean Connery, I do.
Have you watched any of the sequels? Because they're up to like 5 now, I think.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No.
Because didn't Patrick Stewart take over from Sean Connery in the second one?
Yeah, look, it wouldn't surprise me if he
Yeah, I
did.
think he did.
It's,
Well, that's...
I don't even really remember now. I'm really due for a rewatch because I think. Was it Reign of Fire that was the nail in the coffin for Dragon movies for me?
Yeah, 2001, I think, something like that.
By then, the Aragon and all that sort of stuff and How to Train Your Dragon, no interest.
Yeah.
But at the time, especially at the time, this was like, when Three Musketeers was a couple of years prior.
Yeah.
This was this year's Three Musketeers for me.
Oh, okay.
It was like, this is like, the big Disney family film, and I loved the shit out of it.
Yeah, I liked it too, but it instantly felt like a direct-to-video movie to me.
Oh, like now looking back on it, you totally.
Yeah.
Like you're right. Like it's a talking dragon. Yeah, that's right. It's fucking dumb.
We must be creeping up to the part where the year that Fergus first started going to the cinemas and seeing movies. Yeah. How old were you in '96?
I wasn't born.
Oh Jesus.
Actually, I was in my mother's stomach.
Okay, so we're quite a ways away.
Fucking hell.
This is awful.
No, you know what's worse? Me saying I was in my mother's stomach.
And what was it like?
I was hungry all the time.
That's funny because about 9 months before I was in your mother's stomach.
Is that why? Is that why I'm getting called boy?
That explains the beards. Pay attention to what happens up here, mate. It doesn't last for long.
Oh, at least now I know who my father is. I'm happy.
Welcome to Bonehead Weekly Fun Size, and I should move my this is called a microphone, not a remote, Joe Louis. Too closer to me. We're talking about 1996. Who would like to start?
I'll go first. It was hands down kind of easy for me to pick my 1996 movie. It's got to be The Frighteners, Peter Jackson.
That's a good one. It's not even on a lot of lists either. There's a ton of really quirky movies in 96.
I mean, yeah, 1996 was the year of quirky, campy films, and man, Frighteners was just amazing for me. It introduced me to Jeffrey Combs. That was my first introduction to Jeffrey Combs, and what an introduction. I mean, just Jake Busey playing the psycho killer, and oh my God, Dee Wallace. Everything in that movie was fantastic, and it doesn't get enough credit for what it was. And of course, if we didn't have the Frighteners, we wouldn't have the amazing Lord of the Rings.
That's true.
As he said numerous times. So yeah, the Frighteners had to be my pick.
James, I'm waiting. I'm going to let you go next because I'm trying to figure out if you're going to pick something or not.
Well, I'll be honest. I'm glad Chad kicked us off with the Frighteners because I was coin flipping between that. But, Joe, losers always whine about their best. But
that's the reason I'll let you go second.
What do winners do?
They go home and fuck the prom queen.
That's right, they do. You can't talk about 1996. It's one of the only Michael Bay films that justifiably has a Criterion edition. With the introduction for the insert is written by Roger Ebert, talking about, yes, this does deserve a Criterion edition. And here's why. Because for an over-the-top action film, it does hit every mark, but it does it in new and creative ways. The Rock totally does deserve a Criterion edition. I loved The Rock when I saw it in 1996. The Rock is just, I can watch it anytime it's on. I own the Criterion edition and the regular edition because I have issues. The Rock.
So we were going back and forth about Bound right before we started recording, and I really do like it. And it introduced me to so many things that I didn't know that I wanted, but now I'm so glad they introduced me to. But I don't want to pick it because there is a movie that gets a lot of crap now. Well, I shouldn't say it gets a lot of crap. They've made way too many sequels, and it just won't die. But I'm going, and a friend of the show loves it. It's one of her favorite movies. But to tell you that Scream was completely different in the theater in 1996, it's hard to explain. It's kind of like telling you about Psycho. Well, if you walked into a movie theater in 1960 and watched Psycho, your head would explode. I mean, not literally, but it was nothing was like it. And Scream was so meta. I mean, Wes Craven did a little bit of it in New Nightmare, and other people had played with the idea. But Scream, to me, is the archetype, just meta film of commenting on things. And I think it's a good movie. I think all the performances, for the most part, are pretty good. I do not. The problem is that they did what, gentlemen?
Sequels.
They just still make them, and I couldn't.
by the way,
I've seen all of them, and this last two or three, people love them. They're huge box office hits. Every time I watch one, I go, I can't tell you what happened after I watched it.
By the way, Joe, one other thing I've got to point out that you didn't mention, it's also got a great soundtrack. Red Right Hand.
Oh, it does. It does.
Great
It does.
soundtrack.
And I think that was the first movie that actually used it, whereas everyone else just kind of copied off of it. It has a great soundtrack. And the opening scene with Drew Barrymore is fantastic. The movie still holds up. I watched a little bit of it a while back. I do love the movie. Unfortunately, they made and still keep making tons of sequels.
Unlike, can we make Psycho up to 5 or 6? I'd do it.
Psycho 4. Any honorable mentions, really quick?
Last Long Kiss Goodnight.
A Time to Kill.
All right.
Yes, he deserves to die.
Mine
And I
is
hope he
75% of Mars Attacks. Thank you. Speaking of quirky movies, this has been
Rest in peace, Joe Don.
Bonehead Weekly Fun Size.
There we go. Well, of course, The Frighteners and The Rock. We did mention them ourselves, but
Yeah, and of course, Scream. It kind of goes without saying. Like, and I have to. I do agree that scene with Drew Barrymore, even though she's only in it for 2 minutes, and reading that book about Miramax and stuff, and how
Yeah.
much shit they gave Wes Craven about killing off
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore. So really, because, but it is a pitch perfect opening.
yeah. You know what? I'm kind of a bit of a black sheep when it comes to Scream because it rubbed me the wrong way right from the start.
Really?
I don't know what it was about it. I didn't appreciate the meta stuff, like, you know,
Yeah.
the talking about film night. It was preaching to people like us that love cinema, but I felt like the movie's just copying everything that came before it, and I felt like there was a new generation latching onto Scream when I'm like, you should be watching fucking Halloween, like, you know, that bothered me, and now it's like it's a classic. Joe, you know, had it down as a classic. I was talking to my son earlier today, and he's talking about it as a classic. I'm like, it just never resonated.
It doesn't feel like any movie from 1996 should be labelled. They're not old enough to be classics.
Well, they are for.
It was made before I was born.
Yeah, rub it in.
Yeah,
I had no control over that. You did.
that is true.
It's so disconcerting to have someone in the room that wasn't born when we were at the cinemas. I was driving a car.
Oh yeah,
you know.
that's right. I was able to go see MA plus 15 movies. Like, I was able to go to see R-rated movies because I was a big unit.
And I would sneak in.
I've never felt this young before.
I bought a ticket. I bought a ticket to see Ace Ventura, and then went and watched Natural Born Killers.
We bought tickets to. No, we didn't do it that way. We just walked in. We went to see some movie, and then we just went like, "There's no one here checking tickets." We just walked into the next
There was a year
cinema.
we've crossed this year recently with these, you know, countdowns, that it went from having someone at the door of every single cinema taking your ticket to just one guy at the front.
At the front, yeah.
Yeah,
And we just walked into... That's the only reason I've seen Fast and the Furious. And we had to, like, literally, I leaned forward to the guy in the row in front of us and go, "What movie is this?" "Oh, yeah, okay, we're in the right cinema." I was looking at my mate going, "Want to stay?" "Yeah, right."
Anyway, let's just do the official explosion, boom, 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 fight. All right, we're into the battles. There we go. Let's do this. So we're talking about the Phantom 1994. Mm-hmm. No, 1996 versus the Shadow 1994. Wow.
This is interesting because in my head, this battle could only go one way. But
You're doing what I do every week.
listening to Jarrett on last week's segment and listening to you, I think that I am on my own.
Do we push you away?
No. It's just that, you know, you guys were both... Oh, no, definitely this one. Definitely.
Okay, so...
And I was like, really?
I'm so torn between this because I don't know if I can definitively say which one's better because there's pros and cons to both.
I'd say there's more cons to both than pros, but...
Yeah. Yep, that's a fair call. What I will say has going for it with the Shadow is actually for both of them, it's the production designs. I think with the Phantom, if you take Billy Zane out of it and the stupid retarded fucking costume
And with the Tarzo?
Yeah. You've got a really, really good looking movie. Like, it's Indiana Jones good looking. It's that fucking great. And same with the Shadow. This is like straight out of a Tim Burton Batman movie. Like, it was really trying to recreate that kind of thing. And I appreciate the production design on both of these and don't necessarily need the characters. And why does the Shadow have a different face when he's in Shadow mode? He has new nose.
Yeah, because unlike Clark Kent, who has glasses to disguise him, he needs something else. I think both movies are kind of silly.
They're very
Especially
silly.
The Phantom is really silly, but I still kind of
And he's
I thoroughly enjoyed
saving
it.
the world from the jungles.
Yeah. Which is great.
How does he
But then
make
he
his
Crocodile Dundee's
How
it.
does he make
He
his
goes to New
costume?
York.
How does he make his costume?
Yeah. There's no...
2 Australian directors, by the way.
Yeah.
Russell Mulcahy in The Shadow and Simon Windsor for The Phantom.
For The Phantom. What really bothered me about The Shadow is that at the start, he's so super confident. And you find out that the power of the Shadow comes from confidence, basically. And then the minute he meets anyone else with a similar power, all of a sudden he's got no confidence and he can barely get the Shadow power to work. And you're like, for fuck's sake, mate, before this guy came along, you were King Dick. And now all of a sudden a slightly bigger dick has come along and you shriveled up like it's cold outside. Like, fucking man up. That was, through the whole movie, I'm just like, oh, fucking stop whinging, you little shit.
I sense that you watched these, Fergus.
I did.
You did. So you want to jump
I
in?
have the exact same feelings, especially just Alec Baldwin's character in general is just so... I would have rather him just play a straight man the entire movie. But, as you say, it's still a spectacle.
Yeah.
It's very campy.
Oh, yeah.
It's very campy. But there's always something going on.
Not as campy as a purple leotard.
No. But the thing about that is, I'd say The Phantom feels more like the 30s comics.
Yes. And Simon Windsor came on board because he was a fan. That's the only reason he was a fan of the comics.
Yeah.
And wanted to make a comic book movie. But then they went and changed a whole lot from the comics and the lore and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
But it's
Billy
just,
Zane, though.
But they still have the ring and the punch and stuff.
Yeah, but
and-
Billy Zane actually wrecks it for me. I love
Yeah.
Billy
Is
Zane,
that
but
right?
he's not good in this movie.
He's over the
at all.
top. He's totally over the top.
But
in it.
also, at times, he phones it in. He can't be asked. Like, you know.
Everyone does in that movie at times, though, I've
And
noticed.
did you notice, I feel like, and this is just...
Except for Treat Williams. Treat Williams is 100% there the whole time.
How's that? I think with the microscope. That's great. No, but I feel like there's something wrong with the action in this, and this is all on Simon Windsor, the director, because when there's a big action sequence, I think he spends too much time in wide shots. And like, you know, especially with the aeroplane, like you can see him awkwardly climbing up and you see the creases in his suit. And it's like, man, this is really badly done. A few close-ups would have been great. And cutaways.
Go to the school of Michael Bay, where it's all non-stop close-ups, quick zooms in and out.
Yeah, I just feel like there's too much like time spent in the action, and that's to its detriment. But some of the set pieces are great. The bridge was good at the start, especially when they had that kid on it.
Yeah.
Really pissed me off when he's going like, brakes, use the brakes. It's like, the kid is driving better than you drove to begin with, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then they're
It's
real...
Dexter's dad.
They are really badasses, because like then they're like, just kill the kid.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we might need him later. Just tie him to a tree and leave him. Like, far out. Like, that's horrendous.
And why tell the kid that? Like, you're giving him no incentive to
So look,
to help out.
If I had to choose between these, which one? Like, it comes down to what I'd rather watch again now. If you made me choose, and it would be The Shadow.
See, for me, it'd probably be The Phantom, but
Yeah. So much so that you're yawning. Like, the Phantom did that to
and
me
it does.
Neither, honestly.
The other thing about The Phantom is it kind of struck me a bit like Highlander 3, but I liked Highlander 3 better.
Yeah.
Like with the
Yeah.
you know, because who was it? John Lone in The Shadow, I think is the one who wants to take the Shadow power or whatever it is.
Yep.
Whereas it's Mario Van Peebles, but he's like the you know, the older one who should have inherited the thing. He's come back to get it. Like, you know, Highlander 1 never should have happened because I was just, you know,
we need to do.
I was still around, so you weren't the last one.
We have to incorporate Highlander into the battles at some point.
Was
in
it?
time.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, what are you going to choose, Ferg? You have to pick one, and this is interesting because this is like, you know, superhero movies before you were born.
I think if it comes down to enjoyment, then The Shadow.
Okay.
Because there was something going on throughout that entire film at all times that you could look at. You know,
And
like you said,
Penelope Miller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with Christy Swanson in Phantom.
Well, that is true too. And who else was in it?
Catherine
Catherine
Zeta-Jones.
Zeta-Jones. Yeah, straight off of Darling Buds of May.
Yeah, and not Blue Crush. What was that surfing movie?
Blue Juice.
Blue Juice.
With Sean Pertwee.
Yeah. Where because
and Ewan McGregor.
And Ewan McGregor, yeah. The thing with Sean Pertwee has always been that even when he was 15, he looked like he was a 40-year-old man. And when he's 40, you go, he looks exactly the same as he did in Blue Juice.
And he looks a lot like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So it is
He just
John
needs
Pertwee's.
He just needs a ruffled shirt.
Yeah, yeah. If you put a wig on him, he is John Pertwee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I'm surprised they wouldn't have used him for any revivals of Doctor Who.
He's too big for it.
Fair enough.
But he is going to be Wurzel Gummidge. So there's that. We got that.
Pew, pew, pew.
Shapow.
All right, rapid fire time. This is recommendations. It's not rapid fire. We call it that, but it takes us forever to get through.
We keep trying. Unsuccessfully every time.
Let's see if the young fella on the kids' table can do a rapid fire the way it's supposed to be done. Fergus, have you watched anything recently that you would recommend?
The new Final Destination.
Excellent. Was it good?
It was great.
Excellent. See, that's what it's all about.
It should be good. It was good.
How does it stack up with the rest? We haven't seen it yet.
Honestly, compared to the first, for example, it's my second favourite.
Weren't you on your way to see that after the last recording with us?
That's correct.
Yeah, right.
I forgot about that, and we still haven't seen it.
Still haven't seen it.
Wow.
I do highly recommend it.
Everybody's telling me that it's a worthy successor.
Definitely. It's just the kills. I love the kills.
Yeah,
They're just so good, and they're really done well.
Yeah,
as well.
excellent. That is
Someone whose opinion I trust said they didn't like the ending, but they thought it'd been ruined by like a test, like a market test group had gone, we don't like that, change it.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, no, the original ending was better. I don't know if she's seen the original ending or not, but that was a review I got from someone.
You can reveal that identity after we record. I'm very keen to know.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, have you got something you want to recommend this week?
Yeah. Look, just quickly, this movie I saw back in 1996. I saw it theatrically, and I did not think much of it.
Oh, okay.
But I thought, look, I'll give it another go.
Time for a revisit.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, it's not the greatest movie ever made, but it was much better than I remember. And I think, looking back, part of the problem was the marketing.
Okay.
And the movie is Mulholland Falls, directed by
Lee Tamahori.
your buddy, Lee Tamahori.
Yeah. True story. I was offered work experience with him, and my parents wouldn't let me. Yeah.
Really?
Which is fortuitous because if you know what he got up to a few years later, it's probably for the best.
Probably for the best.
He's still making movies like.
Do you reckon they still have his number? They can get.
Oh, I could definitely get back in touch with him if I had to, for sure.
Oh, well.
But
that's interesting.
But I was a teenager at the time, and it would mean me leaving Australia for New Zealand, and it's just not something my parents were willing to.
You could have hung out with Jake the Muss.
It was after Once for Warriors. It was just before he made The Edge, I reckon.
Right. Oh well, then you would have.
He would no. Maybe Mulholland. Yeah, Mulholland Falls. Yeah, Falls.
Now, so it's pretty good. It's a 40s kind of they're all cops. There, it's a gangster squad type film. But the marketing of it. It really focused a lot on, these are the Hat Squad, because they all wear these kind of fedoras and stuff.
Yep.
This is the Hat Squad, and don't ever let their hats touch, don't ever knock their hats off their head, because, And the opening scene is them literally throwing William Peterson off the edge of the Hollywood sign.
Well, they're essentially they're gangsters, aren't they? Like, they're cop gangsters.
Yeah, well, very similar to LA Confidential, when Dudley, James Cromwell, is basically, because LA is an open city, there's no... organised crime there.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to move over from New York and Chicago and stuff. They're all trying to move in. And so the cops just beat the shit out of them or kill them, basically, to stop them taking over, moving in. And that's who William Peterson is in this. So they basically, they throw him off the off the Hollywood sign, kind of, off Mulholland. That's what they call the Mulholland Falls.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's literally they come and find him at the bottom and he's all busted up and his arms are broken and he's barely conscious and they're like, stay out of the Woolworths and kick him out of town. But then there's a kind of a mystery that involves the army, and it's got a great cut. It's Nick Nolte. So the Hat Squad are Nick Nolte, Chaz Palminteri, Chris Penn and Michael Madsen. Unfortunately, I think the marketing really focused on them. The film, Chris Penn and Michael Madsen are barely in it. Yeah. Melanie Griffiths, also on the poster, barely in it.
Was Jennifer Connelly in it?
Jennifer Connelly is in it. And let me tell you this, my friend. anyone who looks at Sydney Sweeney and goes, "This girl has the greatest hits in Hollywood," has not been watching any early Jennifer Connelly films. Because they literally, and it's so outrageous because the film starts and it literally, before the credits roll, the pre-roll thing is Super 8 footage of Jennifer Connelly being manhandled by John Malkovich in like a home sex tape. And then the movie starts, and then then like 10 minutes later, that's when they find the tape, the film, they watch it. So they show it again. So they show this footage twice. Just because...
Means there's 4 of them.
Yeah, just because... Why wouldn't you?
And didn't she get him out again in Dark City? Or was that Melissa George?
She's definitely in Dark City. I think didn't everyone get him out? I mean, she was getting them out a bit around that period of time. And she does say in an interview, like she's like, anyone who watches this will know that this was kind of... they'd be surprised by it because I had really strong feelings about nudity and refused to do it in like most things. But she goes, it was just part of the character. I had to do it.
Yep.
It was, and she's not in it that much, but she's so ridiculously watchable. Hotspot as well. Hotspot, which would have come out just before this.
Quick tangent. The reason I brought up Dark City is just for one reason. What was the guy in that? Rufus
Sewell,
otherwise known as
TV's Jude Law.
Yeah. Every time it gets me.
You know what? This is definitely.
I can never see it myself, but it's funny.
This is well worth watching. What else I watched from 1996, and I watched it a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot to bring it up.
Yeah.
But I finally watched Cold Comfort Farm, which I'd never seen, and that also stars Rufus Sewell, TV's Jude Law.
That's Kate Beckinsale, yeah.
Yeah, Kate Beckinsale looking very un-Kate Beckinsale.
Is Hugh Grant in it? Because he was in everything back then.
So who?
Hugh Grant, was he in it?
No.
No?
There's no... I mean, there's... Stephen Fry is in it.
And Joanna Lumley, did you say that?
Joanna Lumley is in it. Most of the other people in the farm are well-known character actors, but there's no... The weird thing about it is that she's this... she's 19, 20, something like that, and she's part of upper-class London society, and her parents die, and she doesn't really have any money. So the idea is that she's going to go and find one of the her country relations who have money and kind of mooch off them until she comes into her inheritance or whatever it is. So she chooses this farm where that's cursed. There's a curse on the farm, but she doesn't believe in any of that stuff. And so she goes there, and everyone's weird and quirky and... in a very British kind of comedy way, and then she proceeds to kind of fix them all.
Yeah.
Like, so Rufus Sewell is like a kind of, he's the son, one of the sons, and he's a Lothario. TV's Jude Law is like a Lothario who's literally gotten every woman in the county pregnant.
Yeah.
There's the other son, the second son, who is a really good farmer, but because he's the second son, won't inherit, and he's kind of super grumpy about that. There's the daughter who's in love with, and the guy is someone.
Do you see why it's not a rapid fire?
No, it's not a rapid fire. She's in love with someone, but she's not allowed to go and marry him. It's this whole
one title so far.
It's this whole thing, and she fixes it, but she ends up with the guy, but he's not really in any kind of love interest. It's really weird.
We got 2 for the price of 1 for you.
But there you go. But that second one was your fault because you brought up TV's Jude Law.
I wanted to hear it again. So this week, or a few days ago, they dropped the new trailer for Black Door 2. And it's a great trailer. Go check it out. But it got me thinking about Scott Derrickson and going back and watching something that he did. And I went to Deliver Us from Evil, the Eric Bana movie. It's like a cop procedural movie crossed with The Exorcist. Like, it's really fascinating.
Okay.
And from memory, I'm like, this is a really great concept. And I started watching it, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not a very good movie. So that's not my recommendation. So what I went up from there, I'm going backwards. I'm going backwards to the first movie Scott Derrickson ever made, which I think is one of the most underrated horror films of its time. And
New Year's Evil.
It's Hellraiser Inferno.
Right.
From the year 2000. It is actually, he directed it, he wrote it. It stars Craig Sheffer, Nicholas Turturro, and James Remar. And I think, to be honest with you, it's just as a standalone movie, a great horror film. It's very Jacob's Ladder type of story.
And what kind of Craig Sheffer is it?
He's a corrupt cop. Like, he's as corrupt
So
as
it's
they come.
like but it's like
Sleazy.
it's tough guy Craig Sheffer,
Yeah.
not nerdy Craig Sheffer.
No, definitely tough guy.
Okay.
He just indulges in everything he possibly can, drugs, sex, and all that. And he happens to find the LeMarchand box.
Well, of course he does if it's a Hellraiser film.
Yeah. So he finds the LeMarchand box, which, if you know Hellraiser, it's the key to the series.
The cosmic Q. I always call it the cosmic Q.
It opens the gates to hell and gives you the ultimate pleasure or the ultimate pain, depending on what your soul desires. And at a crime scene, he finds the box.
It? I always thought it only really gave you the ultimate pain.
We never saw the pleasure.
Yeah.
Right? We never saw the pleasure.
Because they're
unless
all
you're-
S&M people who find it.
Yeah, they want the pleasure.
Yeah.
Because that was Frank in the original.
Yeah.
He wants the pleasure and he starts to get the pleasure. He loves the hooks in him and all that. But then when the real torture comes and hell comes beckoning, he doesn't like it. But anyway, Craig Sheffer takes the box home to indulge. He wants to. But he just finds himself descending into his own personal hell. And the film takes place half inside his head and half in the realms of hell. It's fascinating. Like I said, very Jacob's Ladder, but the horror in it, it's so well done. There's these great scenes where he's got two sexy Cenobites, like demon chicks with no eyes.
Mindy Clark in
But
Return of the
they're
Living Dead
feeling
3.
him up on his chest, but their hands go under his skin and they're like just getting him off under the skin, and it's just wonderful.
Like Society.
Kind of,
Yeah.
but it's done better than that.
Like
it's, the
a
effects are
Cenobite
really good.
shunting.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so I think it's just one of those, let alone Hellraiser sequels, it's underrated horror film in general. And it's the movie that gave us Scott Derrickson, who, went on to do Black Phone and the Exorcism of Emily Rose, and what else has he done? A few others. He did Doctor Strange, I think.
He did something. Didn't I talk about something about his a couple of weeks ago too? Something new that he'd done.
Yeah, the Gorge.
The Gorge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's a movie that really was a stepping stone for him.
How does it rate in the Hellraiser canon?
I would personally, and most people would disagree with me on this, I'd say it's the third best in the series.
After...
So I'd go 1, 2, 3, Inferno.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Bloodline.
Right.
Yeah. But it's different. It also is different.
I don't know. I think most people would agree with that.
Yeah?
I think there's a lot of hate for Bloodline.
Yeah. I mean, say what you will about the sequels. I think they're all pretty watchable until you get to when they change new Pinhead and all that.
It's usually 3. Like, you got 3. If it's going to be good, it'll last until 3, and then it's hit and miss.
And you've got factions of this franchise that fans-wise, like some people got off the train at number 3. They're like, no, this is too different from number 1 and 2. I was still on board.
But number 1 is such a different film from 2 and 3 too. Like, it is a completely...
Yeah, but I guess number 1 and 2 feel the same kind of grimy, grotty, kind of dank kind of aesthetic.
But the first one is so much more of a fucked up family story, and the Cenobites are just
it was a haunted house movie, really.
Yeah. They're just kind of like side characters. It's like everyone went, well, that's the cool thing. So now it's he's like.
Number 2 basically takes place in hell.
Yeah, it's like Jason in Friday the 13th. He's not in. He's not really in the first film.
Well, interestingly, Pinhead in Inferno is only in it for less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there we go. So that's my recommendation. Deliver Us From Evil can go fuck itself. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be, or remember it to be. But the concept's good. Detective, film noir with exorcisms.
It's got Eric Banana in it, so it's usually concerned.
Fergus, it's been fun having you on the show again.
Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. You going to watch this one back? Have you look at your sexy self?
Yeah, no.
No?
I don't think I will. I will have to, though.
Well, you can come back at any time as usual. You get a free feed out of it. It's pretty good.
That's why I'm here.
And say hello to your mother for me.
I will. Well, now I know my father's here. I'm just going to try and reconnect the family.
I'm still broke. Legally, I have no money.
You're going to be hearing from me a lot more. A lot more.
I wonder if Rove had the same backstory. See you guys.
Bye.